covering the northern Bahamas. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. As we approach the peak of the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season, Deputy Director and City Manager at the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Troy McIntosh, is reminding residents that the small steps in preparing for a hurricane can make a big difference. As we are a low-lying island, he is admonishing residents to call the Port Authority if there is a need for drainage.
We want to remind persons we are in the hurricane season. Make sure you are prepared. You are prepared, and not wait till something happens for you to try to get prepared or to be prepared, but to continue to do what you need to do to make sure your properties are prepared. You have the necessary cutbacks, tree removed from your property, and those likes. And if there are drainage in the area in which we are responsible, to make sure that we are aware of those. And those are things that we are ongoing right now. We are at Regency. We're putting in a drainage system as well as a catch basin at the entrance of the subdivision. And so those are things that we have on tap, but for persons to be reminded to call us, 352-2000, if any other concerns that they would like to advise us of.
Now, depending on your neighborhood, McIntosh says you may be eligible for tree trimming services by the Port Authority.
If it's within GBPA property, within our easements and our right-of-ways and the verges, they are our responsibility. Others would be that of the private developers. So Hudson, Malibu, Bahama Terrace, Royal Bahama Estates, Bahamian North and South. Those developers are responsible for maintenance, complete maintenance of all sorts within their subdivisions.
Meanwhile, Cable Bahamas is helping to prepare the business community for the hurricane season. Vice President of Marketing David Burrow says that they are always in planning mode as it relates to improving services during this time of year.
The last hurricane is a prime example. You remember how long people were without power and things like that, and we have to go behind the power company. We can't in conjunction. So we're now doing things like adding generators. Even though we have backup power to all of the areas that we serve, we're now adding generators. So once those backup power goes out, if we're not getting power from the grid, we now are bringing generators in to make sure that we can continue to keep neighborhoods up and running as long as there is connectivity to that business that has not been knocked down by a pole or by high winds or something like that. So it's all about redundancy. It's all about, well, what do you do if this happens?
Director of Sales Sharnette Thompson says that they wanted to highlight the importance of being prepared for hurricanes. She says that it is extremely important to understand the needs of your business in order to continue generating revenue during and after a storm.
What we advise businesses is you want to, one, determine how long your business can afford to be down. Is it a critical operation like a hospital or a hotel that needs to be up 24/7? Then you need to plan accordingly for that. Or is it an operation that can sustain some downtime, but then you need to make sure that you have the resources you need in terms of the people. You make sure that your staff is safe and they're available to come in when it's time and the all clear is given. Make sure that you have the resources that you need. If your building is damaged, then you need to find another building, but you also need to make sure that you have your data available to you at that other site. So it has to be stored in a cloud kind of model somewhere so that you can have access to it when you set up at point B, because point A is damaged, so that you can continue to operate your business and generate revenue.
An organization out of New Providence is doing its part to ensure that Bahamians are more safety conscious. In this report, a representative of the group is urging employers to take certain measures to ensure that their employees are safe at all times. Italia Hall reports.
Representative of the CMG Group, a site safety firm, Mike Sweeting says, we must all make safety a priority, especially in the workplace. He says all employees should be aware of the emergency action plan if a problem occurs.
Some employees don't even know how to use a fire extinguisher. And the thing about a fire extinguisher is it's one of the most common emergency equipment in the world.
He says everyone should also be trained in CPR.
Would encourage everyone to have it. Every 2 years I renew mine, and if it's not just for anybody, it's also good for your family. And I'll tell you a short little story. When my son was 1.5, I saved his life with CPR because someone slipped him a candy when I was on the line at BTC. So I had to flip him over and give him those back blows between his two shoulder blades, and I was able to clear his airway because of that basic CPR.
And for those who text and drive, he says it's not only a bad habit, but a dangerous one.
The difference between feeling safe and being safe. Okay, you feel safe because you think you're looking at the cell phone, but realistically, you're not really safe. Because when you take your eyes from off the road, you and I can be driving along, and that's like closing your eyes for 3 to 4 seconds.
The group will hold a Let's Talk Safety Conference on Saturday, August 18th at the Pelican Bay Resort from 9:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Italia
It's been around
Hall.
for quite some time, but they...
And now it is time to Ask the Doctor.
Hi and welcome. As I mentioned previously, traveler's diarrhea can become common during the summer months. If you think you may have traveler's diarrhea, drink 2 to 3 quarts of fluid per day. In the first 24 hours, the best fluids to drink are bottled fruit juices and beverages, caffeine-free soft drinks, hot tea, and broth. Try to match the amount of fluid lost in the stools with the amount of fluid taken orally. During the next 24 hours, eat bland foods such as rice, soup, bread, crackers, eggs, and cereals. Advance to regular foods after 2 to 3 days. In more severe cases, over-the-counter medications such as Pepto-Bismol or Imodium may help reduce symptoms and shorten the time it lasts. In order to prevent traveler's diarrhea, especially when traveling to foreign countries, avoid these foods: raw vegetables, raw fish, meat and dairy products, raw leafy vegetables, unpeeled fruits, tap water, ice, or any food from street vendors. Foods and drinks that are generally safe to eat and drink are well-cooked fish, meats, and vegetables served hot, carbonated beverages, and boiled or boiled water. These are a few helpful tips to keep you and your family healthy during your summer travel. If you have questions on how to stay healthy during your vacation, email askthedrbahamas@gmail.com. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Don't go away, a check on sports is up next with Ramiko Knowles.